Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Martin and the Fisio Lunga to break down Alliance's win in that last game. And what a game it was. What did you make of picks and bans for both teams?
Well, it shows, at least to me, Alliance. They are not afraid of giving up the OP picks. Both Jax and Twitch went over to the side of SK here. And they're fine doing it because, again, as long as they get Shyvana for Wicked in the top lane, Lulu for Froggen, of course, and they can first pick Lee Sin for Shook, they've shown they're okay with giving these strong picks away, and they're confident in their own play and their own comp. And obviously, SK's late game comp here was very scary, but the one from Alliance as well was actually very good, and also the mid game were better for Alliance.
You've mentioned the mid game. Let's touch on the early game first, because level 1, a lot of summoners blown, but no deaths, but it did set up a couple of things later.
Right, so SK Gaming normally, when they play very safe. Like, they don't want to take any chances, they don't want to give you any opportunities to exploit a weakness from them or anything. So when they in level 1 invest all the summoners from the dual lane, both Inrated and Candy Panda, onto trying to kill Nif before minute 4, so you even get less gold from the first blood, was very weird, because it opens up now for, first of all, the lane matchup, one hook from Nif, like we actually saw happen onto Inrated, and you're dead. Second of all, if Shook had come down earlier, could also go in there for the kill on them. So it was a bit weird for me, and SK during this game actually had a lot of moves which were very, very risky.
And also something we touched on in the past as well is that SK individually sometimes struggle in the early game, something we did see again.
Yeah, it seemed to me, at least, when you look just straight up laning phase, especially in the bot lane, Nif and Taps were just outplaying Candy Panda and Inrated. In the early game, they got far ahead. Shook came in as well, made a lot of big plays in this game. He was very, very strong in Lee Sin. Definitely think you should band away from him. But yeah, they generally, early mid-game, heavily in favor of Alliance. We've seen it before. Started to play a little bit sloppy, gave up some kills. Taps talked about it here in the interview, said, yeah, we gave SK a chance. We opened up for them to come back in the game. And it happened. I mean, they were pretty even in goal, actually, going into around the 25-minute mark. Yeah,
and then you mentioned that SK normally plays very risk-free, yet here, quite risky. We actually have a replay to illustrate that. If we can get that replay up on the screen, it is where they try and go in for the blue buff.
Right, so normally with SK Gaming, when they want to set up something like here, like a blue buff steal, they make sure either they already killed a member from the other team, or there's not all 5 of them at least around the blue buff, because they want to go in, take the blue buff, and just back away. They don't actually want to fight here, and that's also why you see them move like they do. First of all, if they wanted to fight, Jax would have teleported in by now. Leona then would have used her ulti, and they would just go straight in for the fight. There's no vision, of course, onto the side of Alliance here, because they're in the bush with the blue buff. And if you just roll the clip, you actually see Svensson just trying to sneak in to try and steal it and then back away instantly. He doesn't want to fight this one at all. So Alliance now with their comp, with Shyvana and Lulu, this is why they love this comp here. They engage in with Wicked, Wild Growth, knock up multiple members, and then they can just chase them on. Jax is still down the bottom lane. He didn't even teleport. So SK, they go very, very aggressive here just to try and steal a blue buff when they don't actually want to fight for it. That's why they don't teleport. That's why the rest of the team is not there. They didn't have any wards drop down early on to actually see where Alliance were just in this whole area here. So it's a bit risky and a bit weird. Normally when you see SK Gaming, it was very safe.
Yeah, so Alliance pulls out the win here. You mentioned it, Tabs mentioned it. Alliance still a little bit sloppy, but the potential of this team is looking incredibly scary at this time.
Well, again, yes, 100%, I agree. Because they didn't even have to do anything rotation-wise in this game. They didn't have to do any special moves. They pretty much just went straight in for some buffs, went in for the towers. SK were there, they started team fighting. It went in favor of Alliance. Early game, laning phase, went in favor of Alliance. Shook, I would say, out-jungled Svensson as well in this game here. So again, if you look at the individual players, very, very strong. And when they can win games without even doing anything special on the map, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, very scary. For now, it's time to check in with you guys, because earlier today we asked you to get on Twitter and let us know who's your favorite European LCS team and why. And here are some of the responses you sent in. The first one is from @GFI1993TV. I must say, Gambit Gaming. Ever since this Russian powerhouse pulled off the famous Empire move, they got me on the hype train.
we have to look at Gambit or M5. Which they were called back in Season 2, of course, and just look at the current players and say, we have to respect these players. Like, it doesn't even matter what state they're in now. Look back to Season 2, everything they achieved for Europe, and as a team, I mean, look at Genji, the builds he pulled out back then, people are like, oh, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, everyone started doing it. So while I don't always agree on Genji's build, he's definitely still pulled out some very good stuff, and all the players, we have to respect them.
Mana Moon Ash for the win. The second one is from @CheetahBotVLOL. Alliance, as an old TLG EU fan, seeing two of my favorite players playing with so much drive and energy again is beautiful. And it's also hopeful because teams that have been around in the scene for such a long time might find it hard to stay on top.
Yeah, it's great to see the motivation is still there, especially for Froggen and Wicked, play for such a long time, can keep it going and can keep improving. And I like the fact that Alliance now bring in the new rotations, the new strategies, so the rest of the teams in Europe can learn from it and then improve.
Yep, absolutely. The third one is from @DieTheGaming. Super hot crew because they are considered the underdogs often, yet they have incredible performances. Sleeper OP. I concur.
Well, what I like the most about the Super Hot crew is the fact they have so many players who can actually carry games and make plays. Myanmar yesterday was very, very strong up in the top lane. Wicked even actually said on his ask.fm, I'm not sure how you call it, specifically, he actually said he thought Myanmar was one of the best top laners in Europe at the moment. And at the same time, you have Mr. Alice, We Will Fail in this bottom lane, making plays, Selfie making plays in the mid lane. I really love all these players here can do something for the team.
Yeah, cool stuff. And if you guys are wondering, my favorite EU LCS team is our European caster team. But you guys, thank you for sending those to us, and you can keep tweeting with fellow LCS fans by using the